Hey y'all, today we're going to make a pop-out picture that looks kind of like this or this. And I'm going to let you choose your own picture, but I want to make sure that you choose something that's easily selectable. So you're going to have to select this person out of the photograph, or select this dog out of the photograph, out of its surroundings. So here's an example of a lion, and obviously this one was pretty hard to select because they couldn't do it very well or very accurately, so make sure that you get one that you can select because that one doesn't look very good. Alright, let's get started. So I'm going to do it on this picture here, and I'm going to first make a copy. Control J. And on this layer 1, I want to select everything that I want to pop out of the picture. Okay, I'm going to go back to here. So in this case, they wanted the dog to pop out of the picture, so they had to select the dog and nothing else. And I want, in mine, I'm going to get the surfboard and Ivy to pop out of the picture, and I don't want this stuff in the background. So I've just got to do a good job of selecting it. All right, I'm going to pause so that y'all don't have to watch me try to get this good. Okay, after I've made my selection, you want to make sure that you go to Select, Refine Edge, and I'm going to show you a little trick. If you click on Smart Radius and increase it a little bit, sometimes you have to play around with this. I'm going to click right in here in her hair. See how it takes that background off? I don't know how it knows that, but it does. And remember there was like a little bit of hair out here. Let's see if that gets some of it. Okay, it did. It got some. And then I'm going to hit OK. Alright, after you've got it selected really good, then you're going to add a mask. So you're going to click down here, click on mask, and you can't tell unless you take the background off that you've got it on there. So that looks pretty good. Alright, the next step is to make a blank layer and drag it between layer 1 and the background, and double click it, and you're going to name it frame. Okay. Then you're going to make another blank layer, double click this one, you're going to name this one background. We want the background layer to go below the background layer. So since this is locked, it won't let you put anything below it, so you're going to double click it and just hit OK. It'll unlock it and name it layer 0. So now we can put the background layer on the very bottom. Okay, so you should have background, layer 0, and frame. Let's take the eyeball off of frame and layer 0. We're going to worry about those in just a minute. But for now, let's go to the background layer, and you're going to add a gradient, probably a dark gradient. I'm going to click on these two little squares to make it black and white again. I'm going to choose my gradient tool. But I don't want it to be a black and white gradient. I want it to be a black and like a dark gray. So I'm going to change my white. And actually I could probably just change this to maybe 20%, maybe 50%. Sure, I'll change it to 50%. Okay, so I've got black and gray. I'm going to make sure that this first gradient is selected, and I'm going to start at the top. I'm going to hold down Shift so that it'll go straight down and let go. That looks pretty good. If I wanted to change it because her hair looks kind of wonky there, maybe Control I. Let's see if that looks a little better. I'm gonna shift those for me. And you can play around with the colors based on what you got there. Okay, so now we're ready to start on the pop out part. You're gonna go to the frame layer. You can make it visible. You're gonna select an area. I should have made mine bigger. Let me start over. Select a big area. Okay. We're going to add a stroke. So you're going to go to Image. Nope. You're going to go to Edit, Stroke. And you want this to be kind of an opposite color of what you got in the background here. So I think I'll leave mine black and hit OK. Right. And then you are going to transform this. So you can go to Edit, Transform, Perspective. You're going to bring this in a bit and hit the check mark. And then you can click on the move tool if you want to do it that way. Bring it down. So anything above this line, this top line, is going to stick out of the picture. Everything else is not. I don't know. I'm just going to leave mine like that. That looks pretty good. And then hit OK. Okay, also I didn't think about this a while ago, but you want a little bit below your person too. It's important. It doesn't have to be a whole bunch, but you don't want the frame to go all the way to the bottom. So just move it up a little bit from the bottom of the picture. Okay, when you're done, hit the check mark. And then Control D. So now we have a frame drawn. Now what we want to do is select everything outside of this frame. Okay, I'm going to use the magic wand tool. And I'm going to make sure it's on contiguous, because if it's not, it's going to select everything outside and inside. So let me click contiguous, and I want to select the outside, and that's selected from here all the way to there for mine, but I want to select everything outside the frame. So I'm going to hold down Shift and add this bottom part. Okay, at this point I have everything outside of this frame selected. Now I'm going to go to layer 0 and I'll make it show up again. So I selected it here, but if I go to layer 0, whatever I do is going to apply to layer 0. So I'm just going to add a mask. Okay. I want to invert the mask because I actually want the opposite to happen. So I'm going to Control I to invert. Whoops. Okay, now I can clean up everything. So the bottom of her should not be showing up, but look, if I take that off, I already have all this stuff, so I can erase as much as I want and it'll show up. Of course, I'm not going to use the eraser. We have a quick mask here. That way you can't mess up. So I'm going to go to the quick mask on layer 1. I'm going to get my paintbrush and make sure that it's black because I'm ready to erase. I'm just going to erase the bottom here. I can erase as much as I want in this frame because the frame is what's showing up. Now if I go outside the frame, of course that'll mess up. I'll Control Z. Alright, so okay, and then I'm finished with my wonderful picture. Have fun doing your pop-up. Okay, I just did another one real quick just to show you. This one, instead of it popping out of the top, I'm going to have it swimming out of the left-hand side. So I started with jellyfish. Then I selected jellyfish and added a mask. Made a new layer, just like the other one. Okay, so hold on, I'm fixing to change the name. So now we've got the original layer. I selected the jellyfish and added a mask on a copy of that layer. Made a frame layer and a background layer. Okay, now we're going to add the gradient to the background layer. Create the rectangular marquee. Add the stroke. Do the perspective tool. Do the free transform to move it down a little bit. Deselect. And then I'm going to use the magic wand tool to select the outside and the outside, the bottom. Added a layer mask on this layer down here of that selection. Inverted it. And that's it. So now I've got one of the jellyfish popping out. So you can do it on any side you want to. Top, bottom, left, right, down. Whatever you want. Have fun. Bye.